Hello, hello. Hey, Kevin. All right, so it's Monday afternoon. I got done with a design session this morning. We are going to start coding some stuff, and we are hopefully going to be improving the game. So, new branch. Let's go start with that. Git checkout dash B. We're going to just keep increasing the number of this. I should really be deleting branches. Audio is not working. You're in. Okay, gotcha. Probably need to bump the save version. I'll do this toward the end. I don't think this is going to be very difficult to do, but it's also not the most important thing to do. So, introduce specific challenges again. Difficulty tracker get replaced by a challenge title, description, and constraints. Constraints would show from challenge mode objective details. Yeah, I got to think of how I want to manifest this. Welcome back, myself. How's it going? Productive morning? Yeah, I think it was productive. I just realized I should probably modify this today command. Adam spent this morning working on redesigning challenge mode based on feedback. The summary is we'll have standalone challenges. We'll make twists only be positive, and we'll speed up meta progression. Okay, so the tutorial right now has no constraints. Yeah, so here are all the challenges right now. It's a money goal, a time, and a set of constraints. And these are arrays, but they weren't treated as arrays. They were just one item, and we just keep adding to them. So now they are going to be arrays, and we probably need a title and a description as well. Where are the ideas that I had? Here they are. Yeah, I think I want to do that. And then we need to figure out the UI for this stuff. So difficulty data is going to have string title, string description. And we capitalize both of those. And then we add these in here. Title, description. And then we got to use them somewhere. So let's go take a look at the new run screen. And probably working in there somewhere. And then we need to change the constraints and everything too. So here we go. Choose a difficulty level. Okay, so that's what should change. Oh, whoops, let's do that. New run. So it's going to say choose a challenge. I guess we would need to have levels so that you know where you are in relation to the other ones. So maybe it says like challenge number 1, farming. You start with the farm and probably lots of other perks maxed out. And blah, 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 blah. Yeah, that's pretty decent. Maybe something like this. Gonna lurk. Can you get back to work? All right, take care. The old lurk and work. By the way, you won't have missed a whole lot because in general, I know you said you're getting back to work, but there's time and progress has been going like up and down. So if you last paid attention here, we'll hopefully have gone upward. If I like rotate this whole thing up a bit, yeah, maybe it's like this, as opposed to if I just kept going straight up. It's comparing this versus the old point versus this. Anyway, doesn't matter. Yeah, I like this way of showing things. So it says choose a difficulty level. Challenge number 1. I guess we could put the minus and plus buttons here. Although then the tutorial, I guess we would call this tutorial. getting started. And then this is the description of the tutorial. And then this one would be something like farming. This says some stuff about farming. I read something about coming back to challenge and goals ideas similar to gold specializations. Yeah, so originally specializations were a bundle of positive things and then difficulty constraints, which were negative. And then we changed it to a difficulty track like Slay the Spire with meta perks for positives. And now we're going back to like standalone challenges. We'll have some positive and negative stuff and meta perks for more positives. And I think it'll be better. So that's the goal, is figure out in as quick a time as possible, is it better? Is Alex? Can make me buy one one of these days. I'm usually just cold at lunchtime. That's why I'm wearing this. Just so happens to be very trendy. It makes people think you're very cool. Yeah, I like this way of doing things. Challenge number, and then we just put the number there. Why can't I click this text? Where are you, text? All right, so choose label. This is going to say, this is just going to be challenge. Then probably a space. Whoops. And then this will say like number 1. Why is this gigantic? I'm guessing it has a minimum size. Yeah. This looks a little weird now. Yeah, it looks a little weird now. I should probably take a picture of what it used to be. This. Don't I have it open? Yeah, I have it open. Hope it's not a lot of work. I'm hoping it's not a lot of work either. I think the system changes should be easy enough, but we need a lot of content in order to test this out. And there are always 2 problems with the content. It's coming up with it, and then it's implementing it. And I think both of these will be a little bit tough. So, just going to take some time. So, choose a difficulty level. It could say choose a challenge. And then I guess these could be like left arrow and right arrow instead of, although I don't think we have arrow buttons. Like if I put an arrow here, it's just going to disappear. Oh, no, it doesn't disappear. Well. Then let's do that. Tooltip's probably going to have to change. What does it say? Unlock next difficulty level by earning any metal on the highest level. Yeah, that'll have to change at some point. Where's the metal stuff? Where is this? Huh, where's this indeed? Ah, there it is. Don't require a metal. This tooltip. And it's not even difficulty level anymore, right? Oh, man. Stop putting difficulty level everywhere. It's just the challenge number that you've chosen. So maybe this says choose a challenge. And then instead of the level label, it just says challenge number 1 or something like that. It could also just say farming in here. I mean, we're going to have like 20 of these things. And you're mostly going to go upward in difficulty. I shouldn't focus on the UI too much. Whatever. Again, yeah, this is fine. So that's where the title is going to go. And then this is where the description is going to go. So we should probably rename this stuff. So what is that called? It's called difficulty level label. Okay, there it is. And it just says level : it's now going to be the title of the difficulty level, which we don't even have difficulty data, do we? No, we don't. All right, so difficulty data equals that. Then get the title. And then put the description right here. And probably get rid of the rest of this stuff. So start button tooltip.text. I think we can delete all that. So there's no need to have a tooltip on this at all. It was currently set to empty on the tutorial. Otherwise, we go fetch all the mods and stuff. Yeah, I think we just delete all that. So what are the things we got to change now as a result of all this? Oh man, clean up. Okay, so rename the buttons. Get rid of the tooltip on the start button. Hey, paper. All right, let's try running this. Just see what it shows. How's it going? Okay, so choose a challenge. Getting started. This is the description of the tutorial. This says some stuff about farming. And then just title and description for all these. And presumably this will get set correctly. Like if I hit start new run. And then... No, I do. Save and go to the title screen. Yeah. All right. I don't like that moving this will now cause this thing to get repositioned. So like you can't just keep clicking the forward button because it's going to move. So we'd have to do something about that. But like I said, I don't think we should focus on the UI too much right now. All right. So what does it say? This thing goes here. So this first challenge is intended for new players to get the hang of challenge mode. You can skip directly to the next if you prefer. Which will start changing the game. Something like that. I don't know. So yeah, so farming, this is something about farming. We're not actually going to code these yet. So title, maybe we should just replace all these with title. To do or something. And same thing with description. Change all this to description to do. Honestly, even the first two levels should probably, well, the first one's fine, I guess. But the second one should probably say title to do as well until I actually fill it in. I guess I just want to get a sense of what the UI is going to look like. This first challenge is intended for new players to get the hang of challenge mode. You can skip directly to the next challenge if you prefer, which will start changing the game. This text could be clearer. Yeah. Let's just delete it for now. And the next one just says, this has some stuff about farming. Yeah. I feel like there should be a number in here too. Like challenge number 1, getting started. It knows what level you have selected. So I guess it could do that. Could say something like $ challenge number. What's the selected difficulty level? Selected difficulty level +1 : that. I don't think this is going to look much better. I think it's going to be okay. Let's try that out. Choose a challenge. It's good enough for right now. Yeah, it's good enough for right now. That's fine. This is not the thing I want to be spending my time on right now. If we determine that challenge mode is sticking around, we can put some thought into this UI a little bit more. So difficulty track is replaced by this stuff. That's done. The constraints from this stuff shouldn't be cumulative. All right, so we have some constraints right now. This is all going to go away, I guess. And I'd get all mods by looking through every single level and concatenating these. There was no better way to do this. I guess these are going to have some like BB code formatted stuff, huh? Yeah, I guess just delete all that. All right, so if constraint is 0, then say none. This just doesn't need to exist. Otherwise, it gets the tooltip of the first constraint. So every constraint had a tooltip, and now they're probably not going to because I probably don't need to render those anywhere. Customers no longer tip. Let me think about this. Configuration has constraint. How does it even work? Constraints contains, okay. Yeah, that's fine. Also, that's a hash set, right? Yeah. Oh, how do I want to change this? Are these ever going to show up somewhere? Or are we just going to write some like text description of everything? Because we could have constraints say what they do. There could be like invisible ones as well. As an example, one of the constraints was that you couldn't get perks for something you haven't unlocked yet. Where is that? Offer town perks for unowned buildings. Yeah, this is technically going to be on for all of them, but I don't want it to show up. So it's actually that it'll probably just never be off. So I guess we just delete it from the game and just assume that it's always like this. Yeah, I guess the current question is, should we render constraints like we used to? Like constraint description 1, description 2, description 3. Or should we just bundle it into a like vague description? Like start with farming perks, adventurers cost more, and seeds cost more. I think the first one makes more sense, in which case we probably wouldn't be manifesting descriptions for all of these anyway. Unless we need to. Would it be flavor text? It is just sets of constraints. And some of them are going to be positive constraints. Although I guess technically none of them are right now. Are any of these positive? No, 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 no. No. I think they're all negative. I think it makes sense that they're all negative. Yes, they are all negative. Well, I think I still like the idea of doing this. In which case we wouldn't even need a description. In fact, maybe we don't even need this choose a challenge. I don't know. All right, challenge number 1, getting started. Yeah, so this one probably needs a description. But I don't think the rest probably do. Hey, Iron Crusader. Thank you for the resub. And happy 1/3 of a year. Thank you, thank you. Yeah, I think I want to just list out constraints. And I don't think the description is going to help. So I think we have to go change a bunch of stuff. Let's Command Z this stuff. And if selected difficulty level is 0, then we should say whatever I've written here. So paste that in. We don't need a tooltip there. So this is going to override this. Otherwise, the description is going to be all the constraints that you have. which I guess we're going to do something like this. But it's not going to go in the tooltip. We're going to say something like this. Challenge parameters, which I don't like the name of that. And all mods, level, whatever. We don't need to do that. We just need to append the mod. And we don't go through difficulty levels. We just get it from the current thing. Which means we should probably change this. Oh, God. Oh, the flip-flopping. Snip, snap, snip, snap, snip, snap. All right, let's go find difficulty data in here. Maybe we can look at the history of this. History, this, maybe. Does this have what I want? Oh, wait, that'll work. Difficulty data. Why is it not showing up anywhere else? There's a constraint string right there. Why can't I find that? Here it is. None, otherwise a bulleted list of stuff. And then print out the constraints. Yuck. Yuck. This is in difficulty data. Why didn't it show up? Huh, strange. All right, so we paste this here. And what do we end up with? Get the tooltip for all these things. And why don't I just return this? Otherwise, select all of these. All right, so that's a constraint string. That's all we want. And then, yeah, I guess we delete that too. And we just put this here. Constraints. All right. So get that. Delete all that. Delete all this. Delete the description because we're deleting. We're not even going to show it anymore. I guess so. I guess so. Hey, Tim. Thank you for the raid. Hey, Jost. I am looking forward to October 1st. What are you doing until October 1st? Have you already done your motorcycle trip? Can't recall when that was. But yeah, I think I have it marked in my calendar. Let me see. October 1st, 7 a.m. Well, I have it written for 7 a.m. for me because I'm probably not going to be awake before then. Yeah, Tim Bodette's kickoff party for his game. I'm excited. And then exactly 100 days later, it's celebrate Tim's success as a billionaire. There's a bunch of caveats saying ask Tim for money, get Tim to share the wealth. Hey, Joshy, interesting keyboard? Yeah, it's a Corn keyboard. Oh, return from the trip. Tipped over once, no scratches or injuries. Okay, good. Glad on the no scratches or injuries. Ooh, was it a good trip? Was it the best trip? Also, shout out to Tim. I don't even know how many people were here beforehand. Do check Tim out. He'll be starting a new game on October 1st. All right, so we delete this description. Oh, by the way, what we're doing here, for anyone new, we have been working on challenge mode for the last couple months of Skeleseller. I'll show Skeleseller in just a second. But I decided that some of this stuff is not working based on some feedback that we got. So what we're doing is we're trying to change what this thing used to do. Is this still showing? No, it's not. What this used to be is an incrementing difficulty system where every level would have all of the difficulty of the previous levels and then one new thing. And we're getting rid of that. Out of my comfort zone for certain. Out of curiosity, why? Was it just the distance of traveling? Was it like being away from home for that long? Was it not doing game design for a while? All right, so there's no description here anymore. We delete that, and we delete it from here. Real world. I think I probably have a bad understanding of what you did because in my mind, it was taking a road trip and relaxing. And I don't mean to be dismissive, but that doesn't sound like the real world to me. So I don't know. I don't know which part was the real world. I am curious. I'm not trying to, yeah, I'm not trying to trivialize it. I just having to talk and interact with people. Tim talks and interacts on Twitch all the time. Are we not people? Hey, nice. Okay, this looks good. Yeah, I like this. Yeah, these are all made up, by the way, but it's working. Anyway, I said I would show Skeleseller, so let me show this really quickly. It's a town building, very laid-back game. You hire adventurers, you send them into battle, they get items for you, you sell them in your town, and you can upgrade a bunch of stuff. That's the short summary. I even met a viewer. Neat. Yeah, I have a list because I keep notes for everything. I have a list of every person I think I've met through Twitch and like where we met up, when this thing was. And actually, I should look at this really fast. It's got a lot of private information, so I can't show it on stream. But I wonder when the first time I met someone from Twitch was. Let's find out. I don't know where it is. That's the problem. And I'm not going to look for too long. If I can't find it, I can't find it. I have so many notes. There it is. Okay. December 2016. Although I didn't know who this person was. The first person I intentionally met, I think, was May of 2018. And the number of people on this list is like maybe like 25 or so. I didn't number it. When am I coming to Sweden? Tim and I are going to make a trip up there. Probably motorcycle across the ocean. Step outside of our comfort zones. I don't actually have plans to come to Sweden anytime soon. Awesome. The emote really sells it. Yeah, my wife has talked about wanting to go to, I think like London, Scotland, Ireland, Japan, and maybe the Netherlands at some point. But I think these are in her like top countries of where she wants to visit next. So, yeah, I don't know. What about Norway? I wonder, she hasn't talked about really any of the Scandinavian countries, and I wonder why. Yeah, I think it'd be nice to visit. Also, doesn't Norway rank like #1 on the happiness scale or whatever for countries in the world? I don't think as a visitor you get an idea for why. I think you'd have to live there to probably figure out why. Because apparently Norwegian people are not the most social. I speak only in stereotypes. Okay, so search for newest difficulty modifier. Newest difficulty. Here it is. So we need to say what the entire constraint string is. So I think this would just be like challenge parameters, and it should just look fine. In fact, we can already test this by just clicking here and clicking there. Fine, let's try it. See what that does. Yeah, that works. Don't we have some cumulative thing somewhere? Challenge configuration. I don't know what you mean. This blows my mind. Is this actually what happens, by the way? Or is this a joke? Because like that didn't look like a city. It might be different in the city. It's a true fact. So if Tim showed up where you live, you wouldn't be like, hi. You'd be like, stand over there. We invented social distancing. Yep, so here's the problem. We add in all of the 0th constraint, but really what this should be is just a list of the constraints we have here. The only reason a list might matter in this case is because we might want ordering for that. But the difficulty level we're going to have is this. So we plug that in there and then just delete this stuff. Easy peasy. Oh, in fact, we can change that too, I guess. Only for strangers. Imagine no one has any friends. Everyone's a stranger. I had an interesting hypothetical. I was on a walk with my wife one day, and I asked her something like, suppose you were magically, I guess, like welcome in any place you ever went to. So like you could knock on a random door and they would greet you and invite you in for dinner. How often would you use this power? Because I think it'd be interesting. I'm not very socially outgoing, I would say. Like I'm social, I'm very introverted. But how often would I do this? Every day? Yeah. Because you know what I think would be cool? Is going into, you're just in a totally new area, maybe a new country, maybe you're in some like, I don't know, a rich neighborhood or something. You just knock on their door and you're like, hey, what are you doing tonight? They're like, oh my God, Adam, come on in. We've been dying to see you. Or maybe, I don't know how the magic works here. Like, do they know you already? Are they just happy to see you? Are they aware that this is magical? Anyway, I don't know about all that stuff. But like, yeah, you could just go in. I guess you could free me a lot of it whenever you want. So if you ever want a different dinner or you just want to meet people. And I guess as a corollary to this, they wouldn't be disappointed if you didn't show up. So like you could just drop in one day and then not again for 10 years and then drop in again and they'd be like, "Oh, great to see you. It's been forever." And not, "Hey, you've ignored us for 10 years. Why are you back?" I think it's a fun question. I think extroverts would probably be out all the time. All right, so new difficulty modifier and then they aren't cumulative, so that's done. That sounds horrible. There's no situation where you'd want to use it. You wouldn't be like, oh, let me go to a celebrity's house and they'll be like, oh my God, come on in, Galaxy Inferno. Let's talk about your life and let's catch up. There's got to be something where you'd want to use it. Actually, I don't know if I would, I don't know how I'd feel. Like, you'd know that it's magic. But it would be kind of interesting going to a celebrity's house and seeing that. Wait, who gets the power? Just me? Oh, just you. Yeah. Yeah, just you. Be worried the whole time they secretly hate me. No, no, no. So that's part of the magic. Let's say the worry is not there. You will not be worried about this somehow. They will not secretly hate you. They will welcome you in. You know, maybe there's some like reasonable limits to this. Like if you were to, flip their table over and light their place on fire, that they'd be like, get out, we're calling the police. But anything short of that and they'd be fine. You know, maybe you commit a social faux pas and they're just like, yeah, whatever. They're new here. They don't know our customs. Anti-anxiety magic. That sounds like only in this case, just to be clear. You could go to a stranger's place. You won't feel anxious about being at their place. But if you were anxious already about, I don't know, an upcoming stressful event, you'd still be anxious about that upcoming stressful event. But you could talk to them about it. You could be like, hey, can we process this together? And be like, yeah, sure, of course. Anything you want. God, I just love the question, even though I don't really love the reality it paints, at least not for myself. All right, so this stuff's all fine. Choose label's fine. This will rename later. I think it's okay. What is this? Difficulty modifier label. This is like difficulty description, I guess. Challenge description. It used to be what? Difficulty modifier label? Yeah. So we'll call this challenge description. And modifier label changes to that. All right, that's pretty nice. And then what else? Start button tooltip. What was that supposed to do? Apparently just the text that I've deleted now. So yeah, let's delete that. I do it all the time. Non-anxiety social situations, ideal. Huh. Well, okay, so then how would you pick the places you're going? Would it be just like random people in your neighborhood? Would you try to seek out certain people? All right, so this is done. This is done. I want the anti-anxiety magic. That sounds awesome. I wonder how far you can take this. I wonder if you'd be like, choose one of the following: teleportation, infinite money, or like 90% less anxiety. I wonder what people would pick. Because it sounds like at least a couple people in chat would just be like, oh my God, less anxiety. Who cares about teleporting? Use it to replace reading the documentation. That's a great idea. Yeah, you could just go. I guess there was the like you're not bending space time, so they would need to live near you. Whoever wrote the documentation, you'd want to bypass. So like that might be a little bit tough. Mr. Head, with the magic allow one to understand the host language. Yeah, something like that. Or that you're both like willing to use Google Translate or something. Again, I feel like you can take this in whatever direction you want, but assuming you even could do that, I think there are probably some people who would just say, I don't really care that much. I'm not going to do that. Hey, Raisin Brand, 100% money. That'll solve all my anxiety. Hey, it might. Could afford some good therapy. Also, I think there is a lot of like financially induced anxiety in the world, not necessarily in everybody. I think it's possible to almost completely negate this, and it doesn't necessarily involve getting wealthy. You could just not have financial anxiety. It reminds me of that story of the fisherman and the businessman, which I can look up if people want to hear it properly. But the end result was something like, oh yeah, what are you doing to get all that money? Oh, then I live your life where you're just fishing and, going out and spending time with buddies. Teleport and leaving the planet sounds fun. Where would you go? I never thought about teleporting away from the planet. I feel like there's got to be a destination. Are you just going to be on like Jupiter or something and get crushed? Stop putting difficulty level in the UI ever. All right, so this part, difficulty level. Data does not match max difficulty level. Yeah, sure. That's fine. Don't we show this somewhere though in the UI? I could have sworn we do. Oh, wait, no, there's a bunch of other results. Next difficulty label, text about, so this should be what, set via code? Next difficulty level? Where even is that? Yeah, where is that? Challenge mode end screen. Hmm. All right, let's read about that. What do we set this to? Get difficulty unlocked, get not fast enough, otherwise hide it. Complete the objective faster to unlock the next difficulty level. Maybe we say the next challenge. By earning a medal, you've unlocked the next challenge. Yeah. So we rename this to, I guess, just all the next difficulty stuff to next challenge. Do I want to do that? Next difficulty label? I guess. Oh, this isn't going to be that easy to do. Okay, then fine. Let's do this. Next challenge. Next challenge. That's got to change. Then next difficulty label we can call next challenge label. Set next challenge label. And finally here. And then we replace it over here too. Next challenge label. There. Okay, now what does it say? Difficulty level 1. What do we do for that? Maybe we change it to challenge and say something like farming. Challenge number 1. Yeah, but that means that the difficulty value now needs to be updated. Difficulty value. difficulty string for end screen. Yeah. So this is going to change. This is going to be, it's going to look like this. So it's going to be the title and then parentheses, challenge number, and then the level. What is this? It's an integer. Okay, sounds good. And then we just need the title. Where do we get the title from? Do we get the title from? We apparently don't get it. Hey, Flair. It's Adam 2.0. New, improved, faster cognition. I guess we just want to get the difficulty data, don't we? All difficult. I guess we just get it from here. Yeah, what am I doing? Why shouldn't I get it? Title equals this dot get the difficulty level. Title? Nice. Cool. Guy's working on one video game. It's totally going to come out. It will. Believe in yourself. This one challenges my brilliant ideas too much. And another thing, Xyletics is never right. Show me an idea that Xyletics has had, and I'll show you a better idea, which is not that idea. All right, I think this will work. We got to rerun this. I appreciate all of the input in this channel. Except for maybe like one category, which is people suggesting things for Skeleseller even though they've never played or seen Skeleseller. That's the one set of suggestions that I generally don't like. Node not found, challenge description. What? New challenge? Did I forget to save? I did forget to save. All right, so let's read some tooltips here. That's going to change. That doesn't have a tooltip. Let's click start. Now what happens? You start with fewer adventurers. Okay, cool. And now what happens when we win? It says challenge farming, challenge number 1. You should probably be able to hover over this to see what the description is. I guess I'll put that as like as polished toward the end. You should probably be able to hover over this to see the challenge parameters. This is pretty minor. It's minor both in terms of how hard it would be to do and in how much value it's going to provide. So I want to put a bunch of arrows pointing here. There. There's no way to miss what I'm pointing at now. Thought about adding Excel. I think it'd be funny to have some like just totally zany different thing in the game. But it becomes a maintenance nightmare. Probably not Excel in this case, but like what if you had skeleton pinball inside of this game for some reason? I think part of the problem at least is that some people will assume that you did it in good faith. So Stardew Valley, for example, has Junimo Kart. I don't think this was meant to be a joke exactly, but it's not very fun. And I really like Stardew Valley, and I really dislike this game. So I think that's what would probably end up happening. Someone would find it and then be like, why is this spreadsheet program? It doesn't have formulas in it. Why can't it import my taxes? I played one of the best games that come out in the last 10 years. Why isn't your game as good? So, okay, I think there is something to this. And the way I've seen it phrased is people won't know how long you spent or how much the game cost you. They just have what's in front of them. And if they don't find that fun, then they're going to be frustrated. And to some extent, I think that's a good thing. And yeah, to another extent, I think it's kind of bad because that means that smaller developers still have the same expectations, even though they can't really satisfy them. All right, so challenge farming, challenge number 1. Reputation earned. Sure. Sure. All right, anywhere else that we have the words difficulty level showing up? Yes. Where is this stuff? Succeeding quickly unlocks the next difficulty level. So we're getting rid of that? We're probably getting rid of that, but we're not getting rid of it yet, I suppose. So where is that text? Well, that shouldn't be, should just be a quote. I agree with that one for sure. Yeah. Makes me wonder, if you are trying to get money out of game dev, what's the best way to get money? Is it just copy a game? It's probably just copy a game that was good. It's probably not even do anything different. just make your own version of it. And by doing so, you'll naturally make a slightly different game. I still think there are some really explicit examples of this, like Fortress Craft. This is, in my mind, this is just Minecraft. It's probably different somehow. But yeah, I don't know how it's different. And I think there are a lot of other Minecraft-like games that, again, don't really try to do too much that's different. Then Stardew kicked off the whole farming craze for everybody. And every game needed farming in it. Can I link a game? Yeah, sure. How's everyone in chat doing? You guys got any big life events? I'm doing well. Chat, answer this man. He's the man who's making a video game that's totally going to come out at some point. All the recent factory games that look like Satisfactory. Or possibly Factorio. Okay, so this one's good. Unlock the next difficulty level. Yes, so this should say challenge, I guess. And probably so should the first thing. Which means we now need to change this text. I was say unlock the next challenge by earning any medal on the highest available challenge, I guess. The maximum challenge, maybe just there are 20 challenges. Unlock the next challenge. Yeah, that. I'll just copy paste this. I think this is stupid. I shouldn't have done this. It doesn't really matter. I'll find it. All right, what else? Return true. Maybe some difficulty levels. Prevent certain person from appearing. I'll just say challenges. All right, what else? Does not match max difficulty. That's fine. The next difficulty level is unlocked by earning any medal. Where is this? Challenge mode, end screen, and init. Time tooltip.txt. What is this called? Challenge mode, end screen. Dot. There. This game is literally just Slay the Spire. This looks different from Slay the Spire, even just from this. Like it looks like there's a tactics component to it. I mean, I can see even from these pictures the very strong influence from Slay the Spire. Like the 3 potion slots, the map track. But yeah, that at least the having a board here is slightly different. Kind of interesting that it doesn't have a lot of reviews. Had promise, but the game has been abandoned. Cool idea, but it's just lacking something. Seems to be abandoned. No updates since November 2024. Huh. I wonder if they posted any updates. Huh. Interesting. Hope you feel better, Xyletics. Oops, my bad. Sorry for the depression. I'm sorry to hear that. I hope you do make progress on that with your therapist. The next challenge is unlocked by earning any medal. Yeah. All right, I think it's pretty good. Okay, so we probably should look through all of this stuff. So maybe I'll do that. Why does it say farming? Maybe I just put challenge title here. Yep, yep. Yeah, this stuff we don't have text for. I don't have the actual difficulty level set up yet. Rest of this is looking pretty good. Yepity, yep. Challenge parameters. So we don't ever have multiple parameters. I should probably test that out too, huh? But yeah, the rest of this looks good. And I deleted that tooltip? No, I didn't delete the tooltip. What am I doing? This still exists, but it has no reason to exist. Start button tooltip. Yep, now it's gone. All right, so let's try something really fast here. Let's go plug in another couple of these. So you know what? I'm just going to copy paste these, and we're going to put them into this one. There. And that way, this level will have 4 different bullet points. I just want to see what it looks like. We got to be careful with how many of these we end up putting in. Yeah, so this is what this looks like. Challenge parameters. You start with fewer adventurers. You get slightly less loot from battles. You start with fewer customers in your town. Get fewer seeds. Yeah, so I like this because I think this is going to make this more parsable by humans, like seeing a list of items as opposed to just some vague description. Cool. And then they should show up here as well. Yeah, perfect. And this should work. How many customers do we start with? 3 instead of 4? Oh, I gotta undo. Oh, darn it. I gotta undo the tutorial changes. I didn't have that written down. Maybe we write that here. Undo the tutorial changes. You start with 4 adventurers instead of 3. What else is the case? I don't remember. Oh yeah, you get perks only for buildings you have. What else? What else? What else? What else? If we just Command Z this thing, we should see. And then the costs of perks are different. And maybe the perk costs are wrong. All right, that's done, and done. Let's go check this in. I think I looked through it all already. So I don't think we need to look through it again. Also, didn't really change a whole lot. Just a bunch of strings in the UI. Okay, so start removing the difficulty track. There's still a set of 20 challenges, but rather than building on one another, they should all be standalone challenges. Eventually. Hey, Chef Alden, I see some bricks. Yeah. We are back to work on this stuff. I'm feeling pretty good. I think the first batch of changes, I want to say it took about a month. I don't fully remember. Then the second batch, I want to say took about 2 weeks. And now I'm hoping we're on the third batch now. And I mean, it's been half a day, but I'm hoping it takes about a week. And then we have polish, content, etc. That's fine. I don't mind. This might take another like 3 weeks or something, 2 to 3 weeks. But I would love to not have a 4th batch of stuff to do. That would be amazing. Okay, so now we got to code a few of the challenges. So we had some of this stuff working already, but they were done in constraints. And now we're going to have constraints that are actually positives. And how are we going to code this? None of these are like start with something, right? They're pretty much just Booleans. And then you check here, should have fewer, and then something listens for this and does something. Yeah. Scalar releases here. No, that definitely won't happen. I don't think there's any way we can launch this year. I already pushed the launch time frame to be Q1 of next year, which I think could be doable, but it all does depend on this stuff going pretty well. How do I want to code this? The way we used to code this was with... I already closed it. The way we used to code it was inside of this stuff. We'd have setup specialization. So I guess what we could do is we could just have like setup difficulty things, and then it wouldn't show as a constraint though, which would be a problem because then you wouldn't know that you start with a farm. That does throw a bit of a wrench into this. Bit of a spanner in the works. Because yeah, at some point we need to say something like start with a farm and many farming perks. For this to render, we need it to be a constraint. It's easy enough to add one. I don't mind that part. Imagine we just had this and it said start with farm or something, and I just literally had that text over here. But then we manifest the constraint, and then we need to give you the stuff based on the constraint. So I guess we do that here. Do you have any form of caffeine? I know you drink your water jug, which I assume is... No, I don't have caffeine. I'll have to lose a quick Dota game before bed. GL deving. GL not losing. I hope you win it. Hope your team is like, that was the best Dota game we've ever played. Are you by any chance making a card game we could play? I hope all of that happens. Is this a thing? Do we ever call this? We don't. Huh, interesting. Should have known there was a command, of course. Of course there is. All right, I'm debating on this, but this really could just go anywhere, right? We have apply meta perks. Can I just do something like apply challenge constraints? How would this work? I guess I just check to see if we have that constraint, and then if so, we build a bunch of stuff. Yeah, I guess. I don't, it's not doing a whole lot though, is it? Wouldn't we want that code to be in here? Do you have a game state initializer that can be extended to have different init process for each flag? So that's what I think we're gonna do. Like this is kind of the initializer stuff for challenge mode. And meta perks themselves have some way of like granting the effect. I just need the town to do something similar. And I'd like the code to be in each constraint. But the problem with that is that there might be some private functions it wants to call. I guess let's just try it and see what happens. So constraint ID. Let's make one saying something like farming challenge. I know this sounds weird to name this way, but let me put this here, constraint, and then delete that. Cool. So now there's no like should have this thing. It's mostly just a grant. Public static void grant start of run effects. And that should only be done if you actually have the constraint. If you don't have it, then return. Although technically, I guess what we should have here is some like root thing that knows how to do this. Yeah. So this would be public static abstract void. Is that even... I guess that's doable. Grant start of run effects. Okay, cool. So now if you have this constraint, grant start of run effects. Yeah. You need to name this something else. Maybe just, I don't know, that. This is not abstract. It calls into a function that is abstract. And then this, this won't work. This won't work. Yeah, we wouldn't be able to do this because it can't be both static and virtual. I would need there to be an instance of this thing, which I don't want to do. Although I guess we have an instance of all the constraints, don't we? So I guess this actually isn't that bad. We could just make this public and then make this abstract. And the constraint ID would just be ID. And then in here, we override, I guess this is protected because it should never be called externally. And we change this so it's override. And then just grant ourselves the farm and stuff here. So we take in the town and maybe some other things. Town, town, town. Downtown. And say something like town dot, I don't even remember how you do this. Hey, Leap Year Girl. How did the relaxing post-volunteering go? Farming specialization. Here it is. So we did all of this stuff. I'm just gonna type this in here and hope that it makes sense. I already need some ability IDs, building perk choice. Why is that failing? We don't want this. We rename this to start with the farm and stuff. To do reword this. All right, what's the problem now? That and that. Nice. Would you look at that? Now, why is this yellow? Public should come before protected. Great. So now we go add this in to the farming challenge, all difficulty data. We put this here. And then we run this on every single thing. This can't be abstract. This needs to be virtual and then needs to just be empty by default. Not good. Still exhausted. Tomorrow another day, I guess. Should I start coding again on my crisis? If you're exhausted, no. Yeah, definitely don't start if you're exhausted. Recently quit caffeine because of interactions with my new meds. Lost 5 kilos so far. Is that a good or bad thing? Because I have no frame of reference for your starting weight. I think most people would consider it a good thing, but I don't want to assume. All right, now what's the problem here? Either replace the suffix in member name with the suggested alternate core. Core. Okay, sure. All right, so now we have apply challenge constraints. Let's go do that. Apply meta perks. So we're going to make this. And what we're going to do is go through every constraint you have and just call that function. Oh, that was easy. Cannot convert type constraint ID to constraint. I think... Oh, these truly are just IDs? Oh, darn it. Then I don't think we have a way of doing this. Because we would need to be able to go from an ID to a constructed version of this thing, for which we've used a reflection in the past, but I don't remember if we did for this, and I don't think we did, but I guess we can search for this and find out. So far, no. Yeah, no. Just the answer is no. Well, that's a shame. A very good thing. Oh, nice. Okay. Used to get most of my caffeine through cola or chocolate. So glad I'm slowly feeling better. Just gotta make sure not to forget to eat meals. You know, there are a lot of meal replacement things out there, and I actually have them for breakfast because otherwise I probably wouldn't be eating breakfast, and I feel like I need some calories to start my day. That could be something worth looking into. I just get the pre-made drinks, so I just pop them in the fridge and then drink them. But they don't sponsor me, so I'm not saying their name. That'll show them. That'll show them. I would have made them 50 cents by now. It's a lot of money we're going. Oogly booglies. You can turn them into Ninja Cream ice cream. Interesting. Dablor, hey Darkstorm. How often do you think back on Botland? It's hard to estimate. Maybe like once every 3 or 4 weeks, something like that. Like every once in a while, something will pop into my head. This is assuming you mean unbidden, because a lot of times people in chat will ask about it on a more frequent schedule. But yeah, if it was just me, it'd probably be about once a month. How's it going, Dark? How's your game going? I have to remember that next time I go grocery shopping. Yeah, they sell them in all forms too. There's powders, there's pre-made drinks, there's, I mean, I guess technically they have like just pre-made food too, but that's not really the same product. Maybe I could have done that differently or tried this or whatever. Yeah, probably about once a month. I think in general, I think the like the biggest value out of Botland was learning about a couple things. Like how to learn to some extent. There was a lot of tech that I used that I'd never used before. I think product market fit and MVPs in general and the feedback loop that's indicative of healthy games. I think all this stuff. So I still think Botland was a like massively valuable project to work on, but it wasn't commercially valuable. All right, so we don't have a way of constructing this, and I don't think I want to make a way to construct this. Wait, what is this? Oh, no, we do, right here. Oh my God, how did I miss this? Oh, thank goodness. Okay. Easy. Easy. All right, thank goodness for that. So what I want to do is I want to go through each ID. I guess we can call it constraint ID. And then I want to get a constraint out of it, which comes from, what is it? What I even call this? Challenge mode constraint, get constraint? Converting null literal or possible, because this can return null. Well, it's not going to be null because I say so. And then we're done. That's it. Okay, let's try it out. Progress on the game kind of stopped just playing with AI and pixel art tools. Is the AI and pixel art stuff for the sake of the game, or is it just you don't want to work on the game anymore? Because I was looking forward to trying it out at some point. I don't want to add pressure. Okay, so if we click this, we won't have the farm. Right? Yeah, no farm, no perks, I think. Oh, well, just the ones I had those from the meta perks. But if I start a new game on the farming mode, now we should start with the farm and a whole bunch of perks. Yes. Nice. Yeah. Okay, cool. This is pretty elegant, I would say. We're kind of almost at the point where we need to just come up with content. Yes and no, just too lazy to do anything now. I think it's normal to get into phases of that, especially if you have a lot of other things going on. So yeah, if you do ever want to get back to it, I think it's okay to take a break. I think the only thing I would say is make sure you have some equivalent of like a where I left off. So it could just be even a paragraph of something like, you know, I was working on the X system, but encountered Y problem. And that way, at least it's not like, what was I doing? But also, this is pretty simple to do most of the time, to just write what happened instead of actually trying to solve it at all. Okay, yeah. So I think I just mentioned this. I don't recall exactly what I said, but we have two components of what we're trying to do here. We're trying to make a couple of different systems and then fill it with content. So technically, we already have the system done for what I'm trying to do, and I don't really want to dip into content territory yet. I want to hold off on that. So why did I do any of this? Oh, to prove that I could? Okay, yeah. That was actually pretty important, I guess. We should probably put address to do items at the bottom of this. I have them in descriptions, description to do. That shouldn't have all been capitalized. Title, case. And what else? Didn't I just put it in this one? Yeah, to do reword this. Yeah, so standalone to do items. So if I search for to do right now, we're going to find a whole bunch of title to do. Oh, I thought it was description. Reword this. That's one I just added. These are not technically to do items. Those are. And then that's it, right? Yeah. Yeah, none of those count. In fact, let's open them like this. And just search. Nope, that's it. Cool. All right, easy peasy. All right, I'm trying not to lose my train of thought here. This is good, but I need to write a comment for this. Some constraints may affect the start of a run, in which case it's better to keep that code in the constraint itself. The implementation, the specific implementation goes into nice. And for this, I'll just say see comment for, and it should know how to do this. Good. No, it does not. There, but these should work if I press F12. Yep, and yep. Great. All right, we already have a to-do item here. We're giving a bunch of stuff. I'm not balancing any of this right now. We're not going to worry about that. Yeah, so this is looking pretty good. All right, so show, like, allow constraints to run at the beginning of challenge mode. I did this for the farming challenge, but I haven't balanced anything or filled in real data. I just copy pasted it from the old specialization code. Okay. So let's ignore that, the rest of that for now, and let's do this. Which actually really should just be deleting a line of code, right? I don't know if we should redesign this. We probably should. I think they're called trade-off choices, and there's technically no trade-off if there's no negative ability. There's a thought in my mind that I'm going to write down, but I don't know if it's going to provide any value, which is that twists are essentially going to be relics from other games. They'll change the rules slightly. But perks kind of change the rules slightly too, right? How does this work? Yeah, some of them do. Anyway, is there a problem with this or a realization from this? I guess the realization is we're only going to have like 3 of these. People may want more. Dancing the twist. I am not a dancer. I'm like vehemently opposed to myself dancing. Just a power factor. Twist will have a more noticeable impact. Than relics, you mean? Or than they used to? Because I was going to say, relics in some games can still be really powerful. But I think in a lot of roguelike games, you stack like 14 different relics and there's a whole bunch of stuff happening and going off all at the same time. I think it'd be kind of cool for that to happen here too. And it almost makes me wonder, like, should we stop randomizing town perks and just give you tons of twists? But I think if we were to do that, we need individual town perks to be like thoroughly tied to twists. So I don't think we should do that. Trying to figure out it's called 15 squared and a half, which is a typo. No, it's not a typo. It's day 225.5. So the half comes from it being an afternoon stream. Like I already streamed in the morning for 3 hours and 17 minutes. So then this is the second stream today. So I usually put the half there in the title. You can see that it's been pretty much the thing happening for a while. And then 15 squared is just going to happen to be a perfect square. But it is pretty funny. So we're getting rid of the negative aspect, which means we're probably also calling this something different from trade-off perk choices. Where is this used? Only in 3 spots. And we're changing how they're generated. Oh, man. Take care, Joss. Thanks for dropping in. We had a good time in Tim's stream and now in my stream. So here's, I will forever say this, but I don't like deleting code that was written fine, but isn't needed anymore. So we originally said we want trade-off abilities in the game. And now we're saying, you know what? What if they were just positive? Well, now there's no reason for the trade-off part of trade-off abilities. And okay, fine, that's better game design. But the big question that I have is, will we ever want trade-offs again? Because if so, I don't probably want to completely delete it. But I'd also want to figure out right now, what does that look like? But I don't think people like them, so I think we should delete them. Still recommend leaving the code for negatives. You may find a need to have some negative to accompany a perk idea. Man, I think if we do though, we could just write it in, right? Like there could be a twist that says something like the farm crops grow 100% faster but are worth 20% as much. We could just write all that in the description. So we don't need there to be 2 abilities, especially because I guess the old way was we'd mix and match a random positive and a negative. So like this combination, we can't just form into one sentence because we don't know which positive would be paired with which negative. But this would just be the twist. So we can just write it as a single sentence and then just grant both things. If you want it again, you always have source control. Yeah. And what I've taken to doing is I've started a deleted code README where stuff I think I might need in the future, I write down. So I don't need to go hunting through like 2,000 commits to find it. So I might just put this there too. Twists as trade-offs. Yeah, let's go get a link to trade-off ability. Oh, I guess it's all inside this one folder. Is that true? Oh my God, they're not. I have like 3 names for them already. Twist, trade-off ability, and generated ability. It's actually generated ability, isn't it? Oh, yuck. Well, I guess we still need this. I guess they will still be generated abilities. So let's get a canonical link for this. So generated ability.cs. was what, a base class for abilities that could be parameterized. Okay, so as of, let's just say today, twists are randomly generated pairs of positive and negative abilities. So generated ability was a base class for abilities that could be parameterized. And then we have trade-off ability. Is that not what it's called? It's not what it's called. What is it called? Trade-off perk choice. Okay. So we need the canonical link to this. Where'd my readme go? There it is. All right, the name of this is this. Add this stuff. And that. And then there was a generator that knew how to generate these things. Right there. Yeah. So we put that like that. Knew how to generate these. Hey, Wendy. Wendy, I haven't forgotten about the whole setup Wendy with source control. I just didn't have the energy this weekend, I feel. But I am still offering my services to help you get set up with Git, put in a backdoor so I can always access your code, sign over all your rights, etc. So if you want the whole package there, just let me know. Actually, I should have time maybe tomorrow afternoon. Well, my afternoon, which I guess is your like nighttime. So actually, it'd be like this time tomorrow would potentially work, and then probably Saturday, no, Sunday at some point. Not sure about the signing of rights, but it's required, then I trust you. Oh, that's only a small taste of what's required. How much of your soul are you willing to part with? All right, twists are randomly generated pairs of positive and negative abilities. I'm about to change them so that they're just positive. Also, should they still be called twists? The whole idea of twist was that it does something good and something bad. But now you could still kind of use the same thing and just say it changes a rule, but it's not necessarily changing a rule. I guess it's just changing up a run. It changes the run. Yeah, whatever. We'll keep them, I guess. Only have 11%. All right, we can make do. I'm all for brainstorming for a new name for Twist. I like the name. Also, do we ever even say that to the player? We do, yeah. In fact, we have it right there. Yeah, I think I like the name for now. And I like the little sound effect that plays too. All right, so what are we doing? Town perk, or no, trade-off perk choice. We got to rename this then. What do I have? Yeah, we're going to rename this to Twist perk choice. And then we got to rename the file as well. That will do through Godot. Trade-off perk choice. There. Okay, so rename this to Twist. And then the trade-off generator, we rename to Twist perk choice generator. Yeah. And then rename that here. That's not what I meant to do. Hello, rename. Twist. Okay, great. Now we search for the word trade-off and we probably find it in like a million places. Oh yeah, 144. Well. Ugh. Grave turns? I don't think so. Is this a reference to like rolling over in your grave or something? Takes you in a grave new direction. Okay, that's even worse. You're making a worse case. I'm gonna trust that you're still sick. Hey, Jane, just want to say thanks. My VODs do work now on Twitch, and I was able to do a 3-part stream today, making some game dev tooling, mostly runtime assert, freeze input, reruns at current frame update. Nice, 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 nice. Cool. What was wrong with your VODs? Because I remember they weren't being captured, but was it just a setting that needed to be turned on? I'm trying to take this off without my cat cut me yesterday because she sat on me when my arm was on my own lap. So she sat on my arm and I tried like pulling my arm out from under her and she's like, no, 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 you're not going to do that. Not unscathed. So she scratched me. I was trying to take this off without ruining the Band-Aid. Hey, Busto. Hey, Soda. The gravity. Please stop. Please stop with the grave puns. This grave train needs to end. So yeah, I think we should rename pretty much all of this stuff, which I find unfortunate because it's always just kind of tedious, but yeah. Checking auto-published VODs does work, I see. Yeah. Also, you can always delete any VODs. Maybe you leaked something and you want to get rid of it. Maybe you just didn't mean to stream. You can always delete them after the fact. All right, this is running, but does it work? It should. I didn't change anything. Yeah, twist. Yeah, so we got to change the UI as well. Oh boy. Change the UI so that we don't have the colored arrows. I think we even have distinct graphics, which we probably want to save into deleted code.md. Can you do this in Google Docs? No. Where's my dotted line? I did lose the first stream. Second one was way better with noise canceling and chat window. Yeah. Yeah, one of my biggest pieces of advice for new streamers is watch your own streams. Like, would you watch yourself? Can you hear yourself? Are you hesitating a lot? Are you, I don't know, are you entertaining? Rule rattlers? How about something that rhymes with mist? Let's see, list. How about twist? That's a good one. Got 3 chatters over 5 hours. Yeah, nice. Nice, that's nice. You never know who's going to become a regular. All right, so now we just rename everything. Oh boy. Num twists presented. Does this rename it and everything? Hopefully it does. I don't know. All right, there. The number of twists that are represented is never lower than 1. Okie dokie. This is fine. Just delete this from here. Delete this whole thing from here. Oh, the whole namespace. The whole folder's got to be renamed. Oh, no. And I guess we had to delete all the negative ones. All of the negative twists. Or convert them into challenges. Why are we on day 15 squared and a half? And what is that? I should really make a command for this. So the 15 squared is the day number that we're on, so 225. And then the half means that it's an afternoon stream. Right, but thank you for the tier 3 resub. I feel like you deserve 3 welcome backs. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. And happy 50 months. Sounds like 152 and a half. No, it's 225 and a half. Also, if you're ever curious, you can look back at the previous streams. The one before this was day 224. So then 15 squared and then 15 squared and a half. Controversial. And yeah, wow, 50 months, I know, right? Especially considering it's, I think, almost entirely tier 3, so it's 150 months. Gotta lurk. All right, have a good supper. Hope you prepare lovely food for yourself. The loveliest of foods. So I think we should rename this to Twist, which means we need to rename all of this everywhere. Oh boy. Okay, let's do it. All right, so that's done. Now what, we rename the folder, or is that going to break stuff? Trade-off abilities. Twist. Oh boy, the number of changes grows. We have 82 results now, though. That's not as bad. All right, so what are we looking at here? Editor cannot be opened because the file was not found. Well, that's fun. Because this, oh, I see. Yeah, I should just delete that. I was afraid of that. It didn't work. Okay, well, that's fine. We'll just replace it like this then. Int num twist presented. Oh, but this also won't work because we'll still have the word num trade-offs presented somewhere. To the point where I wonder if we should just get rid of the ints here. That would probably work. Let's take a look. So far, so good. Yep. Yep. Not good. We got to match the casing. You too, a pretzel? It's not too much. Wait until tomorrow when it's 15 squared plus 4/4. Yeah, we just got to match casing. There we go. So replace those. What does that button do? Preserve case. Oh, cool. Let's just click that. Please tell me that worked. Nice, it did. Oh, are we almost there? Well, that broke now. All right, let's reload this. We're getting closer to finishing this. Didn't even realize someone just wrote about that. Someone did, but also someone asked earlier. Where's the earlier one? It was Thorn. There. Had a stroke trying to figure out why I was called 15 squared and a half, but just a typo. So it has been 3 comments now. This is, I think Mr. Beast can learn a lot from my title naming. I think you just need random numbers in your title. All right, let's keep looking for this. So is showing twists. This is gonna like thoroughly break save files. But that's okay because we were already breaking them. Presented twist. Okay. This is trade-off perk choice save data. Where do you live? Here. Okay, that's fine. Because we can just rename you. That's got to get deleted. Yeah. In fact, I think we should just check in the renamings of these things and then check in the rest later. Okay, what are we doing here? Twist, save data. Oops, what happened? What did happen? Twist, perk choice, save data. Wait, it's already renamed. What? Did I do that just now? I don't know what I just typed. Now we're getting here. Enemy stat multiplier from trade-off. So this is all from twist. Trade-off. Challenge perk choice discriminator. So we call this twist. All right, we're almost done. Almost. Generate trade-off twist. Okay, not bad. So that's it. The word trade-off does not exist anymore. What about trade hyphen off? An ability that can be parameterized and can be used as part of a trade-off choice in challenge mode since we typically need to generate. Okay, so I guess we just rename this to twist. Magnitude for twist. Twist ability is fine. All right, what else? Returns true if you're allowed to generate this ability. Oh, the negative thing. It's not even a thing anymore. Oh, man. I guess fix the comments for what generated ability. And then the only other thing is here, cannot add trade-off abilities that are already unlocked. Yeah. And change the generation too. Change generation of these. Okay, let's look at the massive change I just made. Oh, just 83 files. It's not actually 83. If I click the plus, it's going to go down. Yeah, 53. That's very reasonable. 53 files in a commit. All right, so most of what I did is just renaming stuff. In fact, I think that should be everything that I did, such that I shouldn't need to read any of this. And it's going to take me forever to read through it anyway. So let's just trust that I did all those fine. Huh. That's a bit strange to me. Oh, I just forgot to add that. Okay. La-di-da-di-da. Should probably try running the game. Yeah, nice. Everything looks pretty good. It made sense from the title from the morning stream. Yeah. See, consistency. You got to watch season 1 to appreciate season 2. So the game works. Can we save and load? I'd be kind of impressed if that worked. But I don't think we can do this without like actually playing the game for a little bit. No, we can't. All right, so fine. Start a battle and then just speed this up a lot. I need to get enough money. Oh, I can add in workers and customers. There, that should work. I need enough money to afford 2 more perks, I think. Why are they doing that? Turn that off. Just give me the money. Give me the money. Here it is. Okay. So fish give gold and grant storage. Save and load. Nice. Nice, nice, nice. Rename trade-offs to twists. There already were twists. So this probably should have been done earlier. But they're not going to involve a trade-off pretty soon when I make them purely positive. Okay, so we check that in. Now we delete the negative aspect completely. All right, here we go. So a twist is a positive ability now. There's no reason for it to even look like this anymore, I think. Let's take a look. Why do we Jason ignore this? Because we save it in save data. But why do we do that? There was some reason for that. I don't know. All right, so get rid of all this stuff. Get rid of this. Choice negative.png. I liked that graphic. I guess we're not going to use the graphics at all. So I guess I take a picture of this. And we wave goodbye to the beautiful arrow graphics. So it'll just be a title and a description, which is pretty much how perks work too. So yeah, let's go delete them. Or move them to the unused folder. Assets, UI, choice negative, and choice positive. Okay, so take both of these and copy them into game assets unused. Paste. Oh, which will give them import files too, won't it? Oh, so that was stupid. Okay, so then fine, delete these and move them through here. Choice. There they are. Move you over to assets unused. Move. Dunzo. So now the description is really literally just going to be return that. Done. Okie dokie. Now what's missing? Syntax error. Okay, that's done. All right, so that was step one. Negative ability is now gone. Generate positive version. Yuck. Yuck. So this Boolean just goes away completely. So we replace this with just generate. Oh, I put a comma in there now. Drat. Yeah, there. All right, so it fills in the values. By not having this be part of the constructor, constructing just an ability ID becomes much easier. Number of twists. Okay, that's all fine. Doesn't it say something on negatives, though? Some abilities will only be able to be positive or negative. Blah, 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 blah. Don't care. They're capped at level 1 just because of how the game presents them to the player. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so the word negative doesn't... Oh, it does. Returns true if you're no longer allowed to generate this. For example, maybe there's a twist saying crops grow faster and you only want to show if you actually have the farm. Should probably only be used for negative abilities since positive ones are incentives to begin with. Player will still want to seek them out. Yeah, just delete this. Shaky, thanks for the resub. Happy 4 months. Such generous people in chat. Sharing their Bezos bucks. Okay, so there were what, 4 things that use this, which now won't work. So we assume it's always going to be the positive version, so we do that. We're going to need to rebalance these things anyway. Positive version is intentionally weaker than the negative version. Well, now there is no negative version. So this magnitude multiplier is that. And generate positive version is always true. So it's going to be 1 minus that. So we could just copy all this into one line. Easy. And then what? Generate positive version. 2 more. Why do these look weird? Oh, because of that. I see. All right, now let's fix this stuff. So generate positive version is going to be 1 plus magnitude. Done. And the final one is this, which is -1 times magnitude. What is this? Town perk cost? Yeah, sure. You just do this times -10. We don't need to do -1 times. In fact, I wonder if I accidentally had it somewhere else. -1 times. Or just 1 times. No. All right, so now there's a problem over here because we got rid of negative ability, but things are still trying to access it. This isn't even the generator. Could be made possible in the future, but we have to combine the incoming abilities with the existing ones. Sure. All right, what did that say? Negative ability? Negative ability. All right, so all this logic has to change. How does this work? Number of choices is 2. None presented is there. Go through each choice, try to generate a positive ability, and then add it as a disallowed one, but don't do anything with negative stuff. And then just delete this. Aren't we just fine now? Yeah, except for we get rid of these. All right, so here's what we got to do. We got to figure out which ones of these are only ever negative. So anything that appears in this list. Yeah, so this should be deleted. Enemy stat multiplier should be deleted. Farm crop value, ton per cost. Income multiplier isn't in the positive list. I guess I removed it because maybe I thought it was too powerful. All right, so these are unused right now. Now let's just put a comment somewhere. I could have done that better. Let's do that slightly better. And then delete the commas. There. Okay, so now delete that. So there's no is positive. This is just a hash set of these things. So yeah, is positive doesn't need to be passed in, right? Delete that Boolean, delete this. For is positive, ability.generate doesn't even have that anymore. And then I guess this function could also be made simpler. Remove where you're not able to generate them. There's nothing to that. I think it's fine. Okay, so if I'm not mistaken, this has now been cut out. Good. Fix comments for generated ability. I think I did already. Yeah, I see some edit marks in there. And change generation we just did. Now change the UI so we don't have these. That's done. Delete all the negative ones. So let's go try running the game. How about we start you with more money? Money equals 500. That way we don't win, but we have enough to get our first twist. Also, better play the sound effect. Let's turn this up. All right. Okay, so now when I press the button, it should make the doo sound. Nice. Twist. Twists show up every so often and replace the usual town perk choices. They consist of a positive and negative effect. Negative effect. They usually change the rules of the game. Choose wisely? Maybe something like that. I don't know. That's a work in progress. All right, so free guild supplies. Every 25 seconds, fill some number of warehouse slots with guild supplies. The number filled is equal to the number of empty slots divided by 12. Fish give gold. Every time you cook a fish, you get 5 gold. All right, so let's click this one, I guess. And then let's get the warehouse. And then let's just wait, and we should see it fill up with guild supplies. Yep. We got a torch. And we got another torch. And we got a quiver. Neat. Yeah, that looked pretty good. Can we save? What does it get saved as? Where even is my save file? There. Twist. Num twist presented 1. Twist history. Twist save data. Oh, it saves as positive ability. Yeah, whatever. I'm not gonna change that right now. Maybe I'll write that in polish. Twists are saving like this and could probably remove Positive ability from the Jason. Gotta paste it like that, I guess. All right, what else? That's pretty much it. Right? Yeah, what if we search for the word negative now? So this should be in the unused folder. Yep, so we can ignore that. Deleted code, we can ignore that. Worker strike. Only generate this negative if you have enough workers. Otherwise, it won't impact you. This is completely unused right now. Yeah, this is completely unused. What about this? That's fine. That's a different use of the word negative. That's also fine. And these are tests for string extensions. Yeah, fine. Cool. Okay, so we're pretty good. Yeah. We made some good progress today. Now let's look through all this stuff. If I click this button, it'll trim the number of files by 4. Yeah, so this is basically delete the concept of negative twists. Hope we never put this back in the game. I don't want to have to recode all this stuff. Oh, that shouldn't be checked in. Where's the delete button? Oh, it's already staged. That's why there's no delete button. Well, then let's click the minus, right? And then fix that. And then go back to this. Yeah, nice. The rest of that is all good. Whew. Get rid of negative twists. People really didn't like that. I think they were potentially just too strong. But also, the game is casual enough that I don't think players want to choose a punishment mid-run. Instead, the challenges themselves will provide any downsides up front. Okay, that's it. We're pretty much on to content now. This is pretty crazy. Yeah, this is pretty crazy. So should we pick like 5 of these to do? I don't really think any of them are that hard to code, are they? No, not really. Yeah. We could just make all of them if we wanted to. Well, chaos mode might be a little bit hard, but that's also not one we have to do. That's more of a zany one. Think I think no matter what, I should take a break. But even if I can code all of these, I do wonder what we should start with here. Maybe we should only go to level 5, and then if you beat level 5, we're like, wait for more stuff. It's only going to be seen by playtesters. Yeah, I think I want to test this myself and see how this goes. Okay, yeah, let's do that. So note, I only want to make a few of these, even if they're simple, so that I can test the game with just those few levels. We may determine that there's some other big change I want to make. So in order to test, we could code a couple of these levels like super fast, really, really fast, because I already pretty much have them coded. We could code a couple of these, but the only way to get an idea for whether those levels will work, let's say we just had farming mode, in fact, we pretty much already do, is to have enough twists in the game. We have like, how many do we have? 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. We have 9. Where'd that tab go? Yeah, we have 9 twists right now. We would probably need at least 10 more to get a feel for whether this is more fun. So I think that's where we need to spend the bulk of our time. So maybe I'll code like 5 of the difficulty levels, and then we'll start coming up with some twist ideas, and maybe try to code like 2 more today. What time is it? 2:39. All right, so here's what I think the plan is. Code a couple of difficulty levels so that we have a testing ground, and then come up with ideas for more twists and try to code like 1 to 3 of them today. Because that's all about an hour of work, right? Yeah, maybe. All right, is it jump time? It's jump time. For those who saw this earlier and were like, what is this? You can type join in Twitch chat to play, and then J and a number to jump. It's a competitive game. You try to make it to the top. I will be back in a little bit. Have fun. Hello again. Close the game. Hey, Rob. Okay, so code a couple difficulty levels. Now let's do this. I think the best ones are probably these 3. So start with the farm, probably a lot of the perks maxed out, but seeds cost more and enemies are harder. Okay, so where is that? All difficulty data. So farming challenge. Yeah, we just put that in there. And what does it have? Seeds cost more. Enemies are harder. Seeds cost more. Enemies are harder. More enemy damage. And what was the other one? That was it? Oh, Rob, thanks for subbing. That's very nice of you. Okay, so here's the last thing we need to do with this. The farming challenge constraint. We give you these things at the max level, but then I think we need to give you certain meta perks too. But I don't know how to do that. The perks just give you, no, the meta perks just give you a perk. So I just give you, let me try something here. Oh man, I don't know how you do this. Farm, hunger, what's it called? Hunger. No, darn it, I don't remember. Weld, water, crop growth. Higher level. That can't work, can it? No, I don't think so. All right, I don't know how this functions. How does this function? Get max level, get level of ability, data player ability data.id. Data player ability data.id. It's got to be perked to grant higher max level. I'm so confused. Yep. Oh, this has been fun. So I need to figure out how to give this thing to players. Let's close out of all the other tabs. I don't have a bunch to work through here. And then go to the farming challenge constraint. So the way this typically works, we apply these before applying meta perks. And meta perks, we go through all the ones that grant you higher levels somewhere. Granting adventure ability. Perk max level. Does this just fetch from... Fetches from an ability component. And where does that come from? Get current max level. Yeah, it comes from meta perks. So you need this in your meta perks in order for this to work. But I'd be modifying what is a reference to what you have from the title screen. So I need to put this in here somehow. I don't know how I feel about this. But I also don't know what it's going to do. I guess we could later remove it. Yeah, like we'd have a list of meta perks that it should grant you temporarily. Alternatively, it just shouldn't be a meta perk. All right, let's try something here. Let's do add ability. No, I guess modify level of ability. Modify ability level. This will create a new one if we don't have it, right? Yes, it will. All right, so ability ID dot... I don't know what it's even called. Gotta go, have fun. All right, take care, have a good night. A caffeine-less good night. Meta perk tree. So this I want. Higher level crop growth speed. Actually, should we even do that? Maybe we shouldn't. And maybe we shouldn't even grant this at max level. I guess you don't have the meta perk yet. Yeah, you know what? Let's just get rid of this. What am I even doing? You missed it? Yeah, you did, unfortunately. Okay, so now let's go try this out. So all you can really level up is the crop growth speed. And the level that's going to be offered to you is based on which meta perk you got. Yeah, let's test this out. It's a new game, farming. Do we have the meta perk? Where even is it? Here. So increase from 2 to 4. We don't have this right now. Yeah, so if I start a new run, we'll have the farm, but our max level will be 2 of crop growth. That's not good. That's not good at all. This isn't even the right thing. What's going on here? Oh, interesting. Oh, did I just write that in now? Oh, my bad. Oh, I didn't realize I'd even done that. I thought that was there already. Wait, so we don't grant you any of this? So your crop growth speed is going to be the normal amount. Yeah. Yeah, the well is not filled at all. So if I plant some crops, it's going to take a decent amount of time to grow. Yeah. But then if I'm offered, just harvest all these things. If I'm offered perks, I could be given crop growth speed. There it is. Yeah, but the max level is only 2. So I go back to the title screen, click this, click this, click this, and then click this one. Now the max level should be 4. And it shouldn't have changed anything else, right? It gave me level 2 of that? Oh, interesting. Because we have a -2 here. So we're giving you 2 away from the max level. So if you increase the max level, we're actually giving you 2 of that to start with. That's very generous. So this takes your meta perk into account, even though we haven't applied your meta perks yet. Very interesting. So now crops should grow how much faster? 40% faster? But they could grow even faster than that. I don't think we'd notice a difference. Maybe if you had it side by side. But we can get another level of that. We need to be offered that level. And of course, it's not going to happen. Oh, wait, no, there it was. I didn't click it. Oh, no, now I'm never going to find it again. There it is, 75%. Okay, 75%. And then let's get the final level. We should see the change. There it is. Nice. Okay. So harvest all these things. Get rid of them all. And watch those carrots grow. Yeah. I think that's faster. Okay, cool. So that's our farming challenge. And now adventuring. Adventurers all start out with some number of battle perks, but hiring them is very expensive and they regenerate slower. How did this work originally? Where are the specializations? Here they are. Where is setup adventuring? Here it is. So we gave you 2 extra adventurers. So you would start with 3 adventurers. And then we'd go through all the adventures you have and we'd make them level 4. So do you want to do that same thing now? Gave you 3 adventurers. Yeah, why not? Sure, whatever. What do I care? Right? What do I care? So that's farming challenge. We want the adventuring challenge. That's going to be 27. We go into all difficulty data. We rename these things. So this is going to be titled to do. Adventuring. And we give you this. We give you regenerate slower. And we give you adventurer cost is higher. Where's that? Increase adventurer costs further. Doesn't that involve me having increased them in the first place? Because now that's not going to make any sense. Also, why are these not found? Regenerate there. Increase adventure cost. Oh, town building and adventure. Okay, so we should just rename this. Or reword the constraint. Adventurers cost even more. So I should probably just say adventurers cost more. Maybe we put this there. Where did this come in now? I don't know. Let's just throw it in. All right, then these numbers should probably be way higher. It should be like, oh, I guess it could be 2,500. Yeah, whatever. We'll do some balance testing. In fact, I got to write that down. Where's my balance testing thing? Balancing. Run through the game and see if everything feels good. Metal times run lengths. Meta, perk, progression, and just general fun level from the challenges. Challenges. All right, so that's adventuring. And now what's the last one? Worker frenzy. I guess we'll call it industry. And this one's gonna start you with, oh, whoops, I didn't even code this. I didn't code any of it. This should say adventuring challenge constraint, yeah. All right, so replace farming everywhere with adventuring. And then delete all this stuff and paste in this stuff. All right, now all this is broken, so let's go fix it all. Done, 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 done. Get adventurers, that's there, that's there. That comes from the town. That's probably not public. It is, good, that's nice. Samples and extension. And this comes from the town as well. Any other problems? Just that. All right, nice, looking pretty good. And then delete that and that. All right, so what's the tooltip for this? Start with 3 adventurers. Start with 2 extra adventurers. All starting adventurers are given 3 battle perks. And then I guess for the farming challenge, probably get rid of the to-do, reword this. Start with the farm and most farming perks maxed out. Okie dokie, let's go try it. So we tested the farming mode. We did not test this. Start with 2 extra adventurers. All starting adventurers are given 3 battle perks. Adventurers regenerate their health at 50% the normal rate. Town perks, buildings, and adventures all cost more. Adventure cost even more. Sure. Bedtime? All right, see you, Pretzel. Hope you sleep for at least 15 squared and a half minutes tonight. That's almost 4 hours. Oh, this isn't right. We started with 4 adventurers? Did I did change this. Oh, well, look at that. Start with 4 adventurers instead of 3 customers is what I meant to write. I think you also start with an extra adventurer. We'll try to double that. Okay, good. 15 squared and a half times 2. I like it. If someone asks you tomorrow, hey, how'd you sleep last night? Please respond. I slept for 15 squared and a half plus or times 2 minutes. Figure out how long that was. They'll love you for it. How about just 8 hours? No. Unacceptable. Go to sleep. You're clearly sleep deprived if you're suggesting such ridiculous things. Okay, where did I code this thing about the tutorial and where you start with new ones? Inside all difficulty data? Yeah. It's actually a great thing to say. It is. It is a wonderful thing to say. Just look through these. All right, so if I were to rerun this, it wouldn't really make a difference because I already have that written down on my list to undo the tutorial changes, but it looks like all of these were granted some changes. None of them were given skills. Oh no, this one was. This one was given 2 skills and this was given 1 skill. And then their stats. Wow, what did this thing get? Terrible stats? Perk bonus 11. Perk bonus 8. Okay, I guess that's decent. This looks fantastic, though. 39%. 15% lifesteal. They're probably all terrible. Let's send them to here and see if they can win. How will you do, random party of terrible adventurers? Well, the mushroom's dying. Oh, right. It's got the whole make your adventures more powerful when they die. How much is the rogue doing now? 8. And it can stack? That's amazing. Well, the rogue's actually doing decently well. And they might win this battle. This proves nothing and does nothing for us, and we don't need to watch this, and we're dying anyway. So great. End that battle. Have loads of friends. You would make a lot of mathematician friends. All right, so now if we give ourselves this and start that same run, we might have level 5 adventurers. Whoa, and a level 8 adventurer. How did that happen? Is that pure luck? Hold on a second. It has to be pure luck, right? 1, 2, 3, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, wow. So the rogue got like super beefed up. And these characters all did too. So now if we send them into battle, we're probably going to stomp this location. They're also just better adventurers than I had before. I'm going to speed this up. Yeah, they're destroying it. They're too powerful. They're the strongest adventurers alive. Can they go into here? Yeah, they can. But they should not be able to beat the Inferno. I think this is kind of interesting. It's like, yeah, you could probably start out by beating some of the higher level areas. So now you'll get better items. And it's going to change how you grow the town. Prove nothing, test complete. Yep. Hey, Devil Dog. Take care, Russell. All right, so we have farming and adventuring. The next one we would probably do is worker frenzy, which we're going to call industry. And we got to go code that. So challenge constraint ID. That is not how we type things. Industry challenge equals 28. Adventuring challenge. Whoop, I accidentally typed something. Industry. All right, so replace that. Replace that. Start with many extra workers. And maybe worker speed? I don't know. But number of workers, we're going to set this to like a ludicrous number here, like 14. Call this num extra workers. And then go look at the code that I did for this last time. Yeah, just copy paste this. And this is town.createWorker. This is town.ui, town.ui. Ability ID, I don't know why that doesn't exist. Number of extra workers assigned but never used. Okay. All right, so what do? We granted garbage time, adventurers can hold items, and the maximum level of worker speed. Okay, this is going to look ridiculous. But I really want to try this. Oh, wait, we can't try it yet. I didn't code it. We got to finish doing that. No. Don't care. Close out of this. Quit. Okay, industry. So we put in the industry challenge. And then what's the downside here? It's got to be a downside, right? You know what we could do? We could say something like you spawn double the items, but they sell for half as much. Maybe you get double the items, but they sell for half as much. I don't think that's fun. No downside, just a high goal to meet. Well, what do we already have coded? Less loot, fewer customers, seeds cost more enemy damage, get new customers less frequently. Item sales are worth less. Customers don't tip would probably be a decent one. I guess increased costs. right, well, let's just start with that and see what happens. I just want to see my workers running all over the place. It's a crazy amount of workers, just to be clear here. Start with many extra workers. Town perks, buildings, and adventures all cost more. We can start with even more. So we should have, well, like 17 workers? I can't count that many. Not when they're moving that fast. All right, let's take a screenshot like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Yeah. And by the way, this is running at normal speed. That's how fast they all are. So if I send a couple of them into battle and get another adventure and send them in too. Then when they start getting items, they're going to run them all over town. Yeah. Do we want to disable item interaction? Oh, yeah. That's what I mentioned. Or you can't interact with items. You certainly shouldn't have the quick move menu. Yeah, wow, look at all that. So now if I build the garbage slime, we did not get. They're just stuck there waiting for customers. All right, I'll speed this up. Look at them go. All right, just cut out of these battles. Send you all into the volcano. All right, build the garbage slime. Yeah, nice. Now they'll all run in there with their items. It's so funny. Oh, man. Love the passion. I can see it in your eyes. Hello. Double G. Gimp quit unexpectedly. That's weird. Wow. Well, I mean, without more customers, you can't do much here. But yeah, this is pretty neat. Yeah, okay, so there's our foundation. We probably need to change the worker frenzy mode a little bit more. But we've got vastly different starting points. And it should hopefully make some of these things more interesting choices. They're not winning battles very quickly. Let's upgrade them a bit. Ooh, cloning. Yeah, sure, I'll get another worker. Why do I have so much money? Ooh. Ooh, a twist, and it's only positive now. Alright, now we need the warehouse. Oh, I guess the garbage slime's never really going to be at max hunger. At least not as long as they're dumping potions in all the time. Is this a side project or a hobby? Main stream of income? This isn't really making any money right now, but the goal is for it to make money eventually. Alright, nice. They're working great. Why are the customers so slow? I want to get money. Alright, let's just speed this up. There. Do we have enough? No, we're 4 gold away. Oh, that's going to give it to us. Nice. There's no warehouse. Come on. Alright, we'll speed this up again. And I guess we'll get some battle perks. Make this go even faster. Come on, 100G. Nice, we got it. Warehouse? Still no warehouse. Alright, whatever then. Dump these into there. And speed it up again. I don't have any of these adventures. We're getting some keys. Not that I have any treasure chests. Well, I guess I could get one. What's it got in it? Archer and Paladin. Well, wouldn't you know it? We have an archer. But now we finally got our warehouse. Now I can slow this down. So will the slime still be hungry? No, it's getting items fed to it automatically. Oh, that worked. Nice. It's moving the warehouse now. Huh. Yeah, I think we probably should tone this down a bit. I think getting like 14 workers is a mistake. I bet it will with all this fun developing it. Well, thank you. I hope it does. It has overall been fun. I was commenting on this earlier. The general workflow is something like know what you're doing, do it, realize you hit a gigantic problem, panic, and then repeat. So while it has been fun overall, there have been enough like panic moments where I keep thinking, oh god, this isn't gonna work. We're never gonna be able to do it. Yeah, game shaping up to be pretty good. Got that step down. I'm at plus 190% anxiety over here. All right. I want to come up with some twists. I don't know if we'll have time to code many of them. But yeah, let's go check this stuff in. Oh yeah, this doesn't even say what else it does. That they move faster. I don't think we should even make them move faster. Yeah. And why even give them... No, we should give them garbage time. And the garbage time perk. Wait, and... Start with many extra workers. Garbage time. And hard-working adventurers. Okay, so flesh out the first 3 difficulties, first 3 challenges. The industry one probably needs more constraints. How silly is the idea to turn my 100-day game into 3 games in 200 days? Also, maybe 14 wasn't enough? Well, where did 14 come from? Oh, 14 workers? Wait, are you being serious about turning your 100-day game into 3 games in 200 days? Because I think that is a silly idea. I think... Yeah, the no extra workers. I don't know if it's a serious question, but I think splitting your focus is probably bad if the goal is to launch a game. And making 3 games would be difficult. Again, Goose. But it all depends on your goals. So if your goal is to make 3 games, then splitting it is the best idea. Also, I think the other thing is, would they be related games? Because even a spin-off game would still probably be difficult to do. Then again, I'm very much a person who wants to focus his time on like one project. I just find it hard to switch between many different things. Okay, so we kind of did this stuff. The next thing I said is come up with more ideas for twists. So in this mode, what would we do to make it so that you benefit from having all these workers? Maybe it could be something like when a worker feeds an item to the garbage slime, it always treats it like they're at full hunger. Oh man, that could actually be crazy. They're all the same basic mechanic. Ideally, collaborate with artists on 2 or all of them. Very looks like 100 days, 50 days, 50 days. I would have a lot of hesitations. I think what I'd probably do if I were you is do the 100-day project and then see where you stand. Because it's... I'll say this, my own kind of personal prediction, and I don't mean this in a negative way at all, but it'll probably be hard to finish within 100 days and feel like you shouldn't have gone for longer. And at least for me, this is kind of how this has worked with every game I've worked on. I've estimated X, and then it's usually taken like at least 3X. And that's okay because then I took 3X. So in this case, it's like if you estimate 100 days, it might end up taking 300 days. And I'm sure this is one of the main things you're trying to safeguard against. Otherwise, it wouldn't really work as a 100-day challenge. But this is what it would work like for me, at least. And as a result, I would have like kind of increased the scope of the game or tried some different things out. So I guess what I'm saying is after 100 days, if you are like confident, you release 100 days, you launch on Steam, you're getting some sales, then doing those spin-off games afterward could work, but you don't need to determine that at the 0-day mark. You could determine that at the 101-day mark. I guess it would have helped to pipeline the artwork. But yeah, I think the 100 days will already be pretty tough. All right, so yeah, let's come up with some twist ideas. When a worker feeds the garbage slime, you get money as though the slime was at full hunger. This would be bonkers for the industry challenge, but probably not all that great at other times. Or maybe their hunger doesn't decrease. Maybe that's a good thing. When a worker feeds a garbage slime, its hunger doesn't decrease. Maybe we only offer it for that challenge. I guess it depends on how easy it is to code some of these things. I think November 2024 release is doable. I was surprised by your confidence in that. Hey, current Adam is also surprised in past Adam's confidence. What happens is, with any estimation that goes wrong, is you make a lot of assumptions that prove to be false. And I think even if I'd said, hey, I'm going to launch in 2026 at some point, then I would have changed probably the pace at which I work. I probably wouldn't have felt as much of a fire lit under me. I think a lot of things probably would have changed. And also starting this in, what was it? I started in April of last year. I think saying, hey, this game's going to take like 2.5 years would have sounded like quite a lot because just the scope of the game did not seem that large back then. But I didn't know it would be fun, what would work for the game. In fact, I remember when I made the farm, I remember we came up with perks, and all of the perks were pretty much just like improve some quality of farming. And I thought, if this is fun, this will form a template for the other buildings in the game. And it turns out people did like it. So yeah, it did form a template. But I remember not being even confident that that would work. So if it hadn't worked, then we would have needed to do something else. Has AI helped me so far? Yeah, I would say so. I use it pretty much just for smart autocomplete. And as a good example of this, like let's say I went and I added in, and I'm not going to do this for now, but I'm going to show you what this would look like because this is a very real scenario. So I add in some new challenge here. I call it the fishing challenge. And you can see it's automatically suggesting 29. Like this is AI doing this. And this is a very straightforward, like, yes, I want to change it to 29. So I just press tab and it's changed. And then I go and I make a new thing. I call this like fishing challenge constraint. And again, without me doing anything else, it's going to suggest a name change up here probably. Maybe I need to click that. Yeah, so I clicked it and it suggested, hey, you want to rename this? Like, yes, I do. And then, hey, you want to rename this? Yes, I do. So those sorts of things are AI and they're just mechanical. Like a human would do that exact same thing. They would have made these exact same changes. And it's just saving me a little bit of time sometimes. Now, unfortunately, I do not want to check this stuff in. So let's discard the files. Did you add a twist to auto open chests and auto collect the rewards? No, but where is it? This one. Xyletics had suggested it as a meta perk. I don't think I just want it to be a twist. But I don't know. Auto open chests and auto collect rewards. Yeah. We could automatically open chests if you have this. I like this idea. And we could, as Kodak suggested, we could just make this only for this particular challenge. It'd probably be pretty fun. But it'd also probably make the run like super easy. You just get that and then who cares what items you're collecting. Maybe fish and food crops add bonus mana to the enchanter. So this is another thing I kind of wonder about. Like, we have the more mana perk, and it eventually gets to the point where you have almost no downtime on spells. So if we do something like fish convert to mana as well as sludge, I wonder if you'd be like, oh, I'm always at max mana now. Maybe we just add more spells in that case. I think we should add more spells. There should be a meta perk to add more spells to the enchanter so that you have a reason, more of a reason to go crazy with mana. Yeah, it could be like harvesting fish crop / fish gives mana to stack spells, gets you to start entering some broken states. The only spells we have right now are doubling loot and the speed spells. And I don't think it would let the game get too broken unless by stacking you mean you can get like quadruple the loot or something. In which case, yeah, that could be pretty interesting. Could allow stacking spells. Or maybe casting, maybe just stacking a specific spell. Could be a spell that does a little of everything. Customer speed, loot boost, and worker speed. Hey, Grace, it's going well. Did some good design today. It stacks the effect. Are you talking about stacking in duration? Or stacking in, like, potency of the effect? Because if you mean duration, yeah, that's possible. But I guess that wouldn't really get into broken states. Because you can already have all the spells going at once now. Stacking the potency. Yeah. Okay, that's what I interpreted it as originally. But I guess what I was trying to get at is right now we have, like, X% chance to double loot. If you get to X of 100%, it's not super broken. And if you could stack it to be like 200%, then it's not doubling loot anymore, I guess. It'd have to be like chance to triple or quadruple loot. In fact, I wonder if that should be a twist. Like loot magnet changes to a chance to quadruple loot. Or maybe a chance to upgrade the loot or something. In addition to doubling it. Drop as though it's from the next location. I might as well just write some ideas down. I won't necessarily want to use all of them. What other worker stuff could we do? How are we doing, Chris? Hope your Monday's been going well. Challenge mode, industry. All right, so what else would we do? I wonder. Working on your own project, nice. That's nice. Usually not swimming in mana for that building in order to gain a benefit from that idea. Well, I think the idea is that there would be twists that give you more mana. So imagine if it was like every time you harvest a crop, you get 1 mana. Or get 5 mana or something, I don't know. Whatever number makes sense. It might be like, whoa, now I'm always at max mana. And like, that was never the case before. So I think it allows there to be more depth in that system, which means that there are interesting synergies when you get that depth. All right, let's maybe just go to this and click grant and click all of these things. Do I have everything? Now I do. No, I still don't. There are a lot of buildings in this game. Oh, I see. We already had the enchanters then. Workers can stack items would be cool. So you wouldn't be allowed to do it manually, but the workers can move multiple items to shop stalls. I think that could be interesting. But I also think it'd be a little bit confusing from a player perspective of like, I see 2 potions here, but I can't put a second potion onto this one. Anyway, what other like random wacky twist could we do? We should do what Monadic Bind suggested and just look at kind of all the systems that we have. For ideating, our systems are Enchanter, Garbage, Slime, Warehouse. I guess our like buildings and systems are that. Farm, Pond, Treasure Room, Key Grinder, Extractor, Shops, Workers, Adventurers, Quest. Anything else? Did I say Garbage Slime? Yeah. I guess Chef Slime, but that doesn't really matter. Maybe we say something like the Chef Slime will now accept armors and turn them into cakes. I don't know why that makes sense. It doesn't. I kind of like that idea though. The Chef Slime takes in armors and produces, or for sludge, I guess. You get a lever next to the slime to control whether you want workers to do this. I mean, lever next to the slime would be a little bit strange. Treasure chest. Yeah, anyway. All right, so we should think of each one as an input or an output. Look, what I was wondering about is, I think the warehouse is really hard to use as an input for stuff. Bosses can be refought with higher power after each kill. I guess the idea is you're getting more loot. I wonder if we can just do the more loot thing somehow. I wonder, I mean, we could add... I should be careful about what I do. I was going to say, we could add a way of like, you can upgrade a location. So there's some NPC that joins town and they're wandering around over here and you click them and it says like, upgrade the forest and it costs you 50 gold. And the forest will drop better stuff. I don't think I like that. But what else? I guess let's just think of the enchanter for a second. So the enchanter as an input for other stuff would be spending mana, I guess, or casting spells. And I think it already kind of is inputs to specific systems, so we just add more spells. Get those boss drop items more as your adventurers grow in power. Yeah. I'm still not certain where bosses are going to end up in challenge mode. And I don't like where they are now. It's like a one-time fight that gets you a tiny bit more money, basically. And the bosses themselves are not particularly challenging. In the main game, bosses are supposed to eventually be party composition checks, but you might not have the right party composition for this. I'll only write down some other things. warehouse combinations. When you have X of the same item in the warehouse, it will convert them all into an item, a rare item that is more powerful. This is like item stacking. Still want to think of the enchanter. I think just adding more spells could be good, but I think those would be meta perks to give you the more spells. And I don't know what the spells would do. Because it was supposed to handle all the throughput issues you have. Either you have too many items in your warehouse, so you use the worker spell, or you have too many items in your shops and you use the customer spell, or you don't have any items anywhere and you use the loot magnet spell. So I guess what other problems could you run into? And like your adventures aren't strong enough, so you use like an adventure power-up spell, or maybe treasure chest or something. It would be kind of interesting to just click a spell and get more power on an adventure. I guess it could be temporary. It could be that they get a buff in battle. But that's very similar to the loot magnet one. Could be a spell that permanently buffs an adventurer with a battle perk. Maybe a slightly weaker perk than normal. Or maybe just a single stat. Plus 1% dodge. You should probably be casting this all the time. But it's a trade-off. I think this is interesting. What else, as long as I'm thinking about the enchanter? As an output for stuff, it's like getting mana. Get mana, cast a spell. Enchanter input is mostly just like spend mana or cast a spell. This is inherently an input to other systems. Gain plus 1% worker speed for each item in the warehouse, I'm guessing. So what I'm thinking is, because we were talking about this a while ago, do we want to incentivize you to have a full warehouse or an empty warehouse? I guess you're naturally incentivized to want it to be empty because it means you're getting rid of items that were in there. Because incentivizing it to be full could mean that you're just going to the forest and getting like 1 billion items. And we do have the one twist already for giving you free treasure, which I do like. You have 2 adventurers battle each other in an arena. Maybe it spawns customers from the entertainment of it. I want to be careful about things that require like big coding changes to just get a small mechanic difference. So if the goal is to get more customers, I'd probably be like, oh, you send adventurers on a like a recruiting journey. And it just like takes them out of circulation for a little bit. Could have a perk for both. Some challenges may call for many items and some may shoot for a few. Yeah. Warehouse input could be having a full or empty warehouse. What if you could like spend your customers as currency? I don't know why. Like, what if you recruited a customer into a worker, basically? I guess that means you're killing them. It's probably not good. Convert a customer into a worker. Or vice versa. Actually, the converting workers into customers is kind of interesting. customers into adventure assistance. I don't know what that would look like exactly. I wonder if like you could find treasure chests from battles. Because I coded that ability. Yeah, I think it's still in the game. We're all 14, sign me up. I think something with item stacking would probably be here. Maybe a specific shop can stack items. All right, I'll have to put some more thought into this. Probably tomorrow. I think it's one of the main goals I want to do. Like, balance the morning between coming up with twists and coding them. Hard stop at noon. Yeah, I can't stream for super long tomorrow. Oh, I don't tend to stream for too long on Tuesdays anyway. All right, so we did this. Come up with some ideas. We came up with some ideas. I didn't code any of them. I think I'm going to leave it at there, though. There's been really good progress today, though. It was mostly game design stuff, but we've already converted some of it into concrete code. So now instead of stacking challenges, you have standalone challenges. So like this farming challenge, if I were to click the right arrow or the left arrow, has no relevance on anything after or before it. Same thing, adventuring, no relevance after or before it. So it's like you can just read this and understand what this challenge is, start a run. This one, you start with multiple adventurers. You can see in here, it tells you what the parameters are. When you win, I think it doesn't tell you anything. Yeah, it just tells you you're on the adventuring one. But yeah. So remember, the goal for this week is get this as far as we can. And even if it's just with a few of those difficulty levels, that's fine. Like we only need a couple of different challenges. We could have like those four, the tutorial and then farming, adventuring, and industry. So the goal is going to be to see, is this going in the right direction? Do people find this fun? Do they want more challenges? Is it easy to come up with more challenges? Is it easy to come up with more twists? So that's the work for this week. But I'm glad it's been panning out pretty well so far. All right. Let us go and raid somebody. Man, I follow a bunch of people now. Let's go raid Fail to Survive. Why can't I type this? Okay. Impressively fast turnaround and responding to feedback. Thank you. I hope it turns out well, because anyone can respond to feedback, but if they're just doing stupid stuff, then it's not going to result in a better game. Anyway, I'll be back tomorrow. It'll just be for the morning. If you want to join Discord, there's a link. If you want to try the Skeleseller demo, there's a link to that. And I will hopefully see you all tomorrow. Let's go say hi to Fail to Survive. Have a good rest of your evening. Goodbye.